23andMe has filed for bankruptcy, and it's opened a serious conversation about DNA and privacy.
The genetic testing company has the data of more than 15 million customers. So what happens to it now? California Attorney General Rob Bonta joins us this morning. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
I think people heard this, over the last day or so, but really you have a warning for customers. They really do need to delete that data from the company immediately. If somebody's kind of sitting there going, okay, it's a news headline, or I figured my data was out there anyway, what do you want them to know?
I want them to know what their rights are. And in California, we have some of the strongest privacy protections in the nation, in the world, really. And it allows you to have a right to know how your data is being used, a right to opt out of it being used in certain ways. And if you've provided it, and if someone is holding it, a company is holding your data, a right to delete it if you wish. And we want people to know right now that 23andMe is going through a significant financial transformation. They've declared bankruptcy. They have laid off 40% of their staff, meaning some of the guardrails may be coming down. Some of the quality assurance may be decreased. There could be less customer service and decreased protections of their privacy with the cybersecurity team. And even when 23andMe was at full capacity 18 months ago, they had a significant data breach where 7 million of the nearly over 14 million users' data was exposed. And so we want people to make informed decisions. We want them to have knowledge of their rights, knowledge of the current status of 23andMe, and make the decision that's best for them. Not everyone will want to delete, and we're not saying that you should delete. We're saying that you should know about your right to delete and exercise that right as you see appropriate.
Talk about the stakes here, because, a lot of us do assume all of our stuff is out there anyway, but insurance is a major concern. For example, a lot of companies have been known to drop people based on their genetic profiles, maybe not give people life insurance down the road based on something that they have in their genetic background. Do you anticipate that being an issue?
It could. I think as there is a sale of 23andMe's assets during the bankruptcy process, there might be life insurance companies, health insurance companies interested in their data. Certainly, if they are a successor company and acquire that data, they need to keep it private. They can only use it in the ways that the consumer allows them to. So those are some appropriate issues to flag, and we'll see how it all turns out. But it is we want to be very clear about the duties of 23andMe, any successor corporation, any corporation that purchases the assets of 23andMe, meaning the data of 14 million Americans. They have a duty, at least in California, to protect that sensitive private information, to make sure it's not shared or sold if that is consistent with the wishes of the consumer. This is valuable. These are valuable assets, as you know, and we want consumers to know that it is their data. In California, we believe that your private data belongs to you, not a corporation, not a successor corporation, not some third party that the data is sold to, but it's yours. And you can delete it if you wish. You have a right to know how it's being used, and you can opt out of it being used in certain ways.
I remember when these companies first started. You have 23andMe, of Ancestry.com. Consumer advocates were screaming about the fact that this could potentially happen. Now that it has, should people really be concerned? The company's now going to attempt to sell itself under the supervision of a court. You think about cyber criminals. Consumer advocates have been yelling about that for a long time. But what do people really need to be concerned about here?
I mean, these are all appropriate flags. And as these commercial genetic information database companies started to do more business and be more active and become more popular, policymakers appropriately took steps to make sure that the privacy of individuals, of consumers, was protected. We have in California the Genetic Information Privacy Act. We have the California Consumer Protection Act. These together in this situation provide really strong protections for consumers. But even when the laws are in place, breaches occur, as they did, as I mentioned, 18 months ago with 23andMe. As the transformation in the bankruptcy process continues, there could be additional exposure to data. And so these are risks that we have to weigh. Some folks value their private data in a really significant way. Some folks don't mind it being in the hands of others. Some have a high appetite for risk, some have a low appetite for risk. Each individual will have to decide. But the key is that you have rights. You can exercise those rights, and we encourage you to take control of your data and make sure that your privacy is protected in the way that you see fit.
All right, Attorney General Rob Bonta, thanks so much for joining us today. Important information.
Thanks for having me.
And if you want to delete your data, go to the settings section of your profile, scroll to a labeled section 23andMe data and click view. If you want a copy of everything, click download. If not, click permanently delete data and confirm your request. You'll then get an email from 23andMe, follow that link and confirm your deletion request. And if you want to see these directions again, head over to kcalnews.com and click Seen on TV.